would like to invite all legislators to the chambers so that we can begin our meeting. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting of the Nassau County Legislature to order, and I'm going to ask Legislator Laura Schaefer to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I'm going to invoke a point of privilege for 14 of us at this point, so you'll excuse me. Being that it's one of the last meetings of the year and of this legislature, as a matter of fact, as it's currently constituted, so it's appropriate to recognize four legislators who are retiring as of the end of December. And that's a fairly unusual thing when you've got four experienced legislators retiring. So first of all, our presiding officer, Richard Nicolello, who is one of the original members of the legislature. He's been here for, 28 years now? And still has the battle scars to prove it. Rich has had some very important jobs, both here and professionally. But as I know him, he's actually a modest man by nature. And that doesn't stop him, though, from speaking out for what he believes. He's led this body for 6 years now with tremendous dignity, consideration, respect for not only members of his caucus, but of the entire legislature, all of us. And we all appreciate it. Also, he's had the same kind of dignity and respect for members of the administration who are appearing before us and for the public. Political knowledge and acumen are unlimited. So in January, of course, we're going to have a new presiding officer, and Rich is going to be a very tough act to follow. Alternate Deputy Presiding Officer Ford, Denise Ford, what can I say about Denise? She's been here only 20 years, not 28, right? Right. And Denise comes from a family tradition of public service, a long family tradition. And that's why she's here too. She's been doing it, she does it. She's one of the people who does things for the right reasons, not seeking glory, not seeking public recognition. She's got a down-to-earth manner, a common-sense approach to everything that goes on around here, and a very deep knowledge of not only what we do here, but of what the community does, what the community needs. She's going to be hard to replace. Everyone's best friend here. My friend sits next to me when I need advice. You're right here all the time. I benefited from having that, and I appreciate it. Now, my other neighbor, and my good friend too, on this day for the last 6 years, is Minority Leader Kavan Abrahams, who hasn't had an easy job. As Kavan has said a number of times, I know how to count, right? Right? Yeah. But being the minority has never stopped Kavan from representing his constituents and advocating, sometimes fiercely, for things that the caucus believes in and what he believes in. And we all appreciate that. He does it, though, with good humor and dignity, and the fact that we may differ with each other doesn't stop anything, and it works. Kavan works with everyone here, both in government and outside government. I know personally I've needed help on some things that Kavan is able to help with a couple times. Make a phone call, he jumps right on it. You're a good friend. We're going to miss you. Laura, only 10 years, and that's just not enough. I don't know. I don't know if we can let you go. Laura is also deeply involved with the community and county-wide groups, charitable groups, veterans, very interested in veterans groups and so forth. Dedicated public servant and valued member of the legislature and of our caucus. Always cheerful demeanor and terrific singing, by the way. We're going to miss all that. And what can I say? I think I speak for all of us here, and for many of you out in the audience as well, when I say that this chamber, this legislature, is going to be very different without you guys. We're going to miss you, and the group has been unique because we can argue things, we can argue strongly, and then when we're finished, you know, we go have we go out as friends. We go have a beer or something. You know, it's the right way to do it, and this is a great group of people, and I hope it continues like that. But we wish all of you luck, tremendous luck, and in your next careers and the rest of next chapters, and don't be strangers. The only thing is, when you do come back, don't gloat too much about having escaped, right? So at this point, I just would ask all of you, including you in the audience, to join me in a well-deserved round of applause for these fantastic people. And now I'm going to turn this over to Legislator Durigi Witten for a moment.
Thank you, Howard, and we have to say thank you to you, because you really were the one who organized today, and although we would have done something, we just appreciate you stepping forward and doing that. So Sela and I are going to split this in no particular order. However, Rich, who I used to always refer to as my work ex-husband, because we used to argue quite a lot. And perhaps once when I guess my actual husband met you and thought what a great guy you were and what a nice guy you are, I was like, oh no. But seriously, just through the years, I think the two of us have really developed a friendship, and I value it. I'm going to miss you, genuinely. And I can always say you held us to a standard, and you always kept things under control, which is not an easy task. I totally respect the way that you handled things, and you are hard to replace. I still can't quite believe it. I don't know. This whole thing is very surreal for me. But and Denise, I also get to acknowledge you, and I feel that the two of us have sort of had a bond together. And whether it was the jail, we've been to jail together quite a lot, or other issues. Right. No, we went there to observe. Right. You have to be careful speaking that way. But no, but seriously, your heart is always in the right place, and in my opinion, and I've really enjoyed our friendship as well. And yeah, and you are gloating a little too much, but other than that, we're very happy for you guys.
And I get the distinct pleasure to acknowledge two of my friends that I've been able to serve in overlapping districts together. And you know, this job and this journey that we've embarked upon as legislators, you know, you meet a lot of challenges along the way. And I would say that the challenges that I met along the way were just much easier to overcome because of the camaraderie and the like spirit, the spirit of service that I had from my colleagues here. And Laura Schaefer, who I've known, wow, since elementary school. I knew her prior to 1981, and I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to give too much detail. But I was her sister's contemporary in school, and so I've known Laura a long, long time. And to be able to, two hometown girls from Westbury, to be able to serve together and be able to deliver for our community together has really been an extraordinary honor. And Laura, I think my first CRP was with you based on an observation that you made in the community. And we've dealt with snowstorms, we've dealt with COVID, we've done so many things together. And it's been really a journey that I cherish, and I will miss you so. And Kavan, everyone thinks I'm rough and tumble, but you can see I'm choked up here because I really enjoy serving with you folks. And you know, I tell young electeds or people who are coming into service, and I'll have the privilege to do that this Friday, once again, new elected officials, I'll be able to speak with them. And I always tell them, get a mentor, get a mentor. And so, Kavan, you have not only been a mentor, you have been a brother. You have really, really given me some strong guidance, and you have pulled up your sleeve and worked with me. And more importantly, no issue was too big or too small for you to get involved with me. I'd call you with certain things, and you'd refocus me and say, Sela, keep your eye on the prize. Don't get into the weeds with that. And never once were you wrong. And so you are a man of extraordinary character. You led this caucus with a high level of diplomacy, and I have the utmost respect for your service, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. May God bless you, all four of you, and keep you on your journey, and I wish nothing but the best for all of you. Thank you.
So we're just going to make a real short little picture and of the group and a presentation of a few small mementos. And I will say that that both the presiding officer, minority leader, had left strict instructions not to do anything like this. And all I can say is, I'm not sorry, I'm too bad. We did it.
Now, you know we're not leaving, right? We have 2 more meetings to go. So.
We couldn't take a chance.
So,
You might sneak out early.
Gavana and I appreciate the remarks, but we're going to debate that right now. So.
One more time.
One
I
more
just
time.
wish I had my recorder out so my wife can hear all these great things you said about me.
We did leave some time for rebuttal, if you'd like.
I think Legislator Ferretti would like to rebut this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we'll take a picture. Can we take it up here, or? Yeah, let's take a picture.
Wow. It's amazing. Wow. Yeah, I know, right? I should put it up there. You guys feel a little jealous. Jesus.
It's a big package.
Oh yeah, it's super big. Okay.
Becomes real when we're not here. Realize we're not going to be.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much, all of you, really, thank you. Should you have the 4 honorees in the middle?
Yeah.
We already.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought we were.
Oh, yeah, Laura. You come here.
Howard, I can always come and help out too.
I want you to come to the left anyway.
Peter.
No, but seriously, like it was all in our minds, but you did it.
See it.
I know,
I thought it was a happy.
they don't let you.
I know, I was ready to go.
It's going to be tough. And others have something to say to them, then we wait till the future. Oh, yes. So, not take that on, she can talk to us. But thank you.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Love you. Thank you.
But it's not Ursula's fault.
Thanks. Let me just say that we appreciate those kind words. I appreciate them, Howard, Delia, and Celia. It has been an absolute privilege serving on this legislature, working with our colleagues, working with all of you out there, especially our men and women in blue in the back. So the honor and privilege has been ours, and we're just happy that in 34 days, 12 hours. But again, thank you very much. It's been our honor and privilege. You want to say what? You want to say something?
First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of my colleagues here. Totally unexpected. I can't speak for Rich, but I gave very, very implicit instructions that I did not want anything big to happen. But I know this is a very momentous occasion, and I can't agree more with the sentiments of my colleague, Legislator Coppell, that discussed, you never really see this in terms of 4 members of this experience leaving at the same time, but it's definitely bittersweet. I think Legislator Bino talked about the friendships that we have and the friendships I have with all of you. It may not seem that way at times, but I have a tremendous respect for all of you. To our public, obviously our top cops here that are patiently waiting, but I thank you for entrusting us with your vote and your confidence over the years. It definitely warms my heart to have that level of support and confidence in what we do. And obviously to our larger public, There's still a lot of good work that needs to be done in the county, and I'm confident that the legislative body that's going to come into place in January, I believe it's, what, 5, 6 new members, I believe, something like that. So five new members that are coming in are going to jump in, and they're going to be ready for the job as well. So again, I just want to thank all of you again. We're not going anywhere. We still have another 34 days, 12 hours and minutes to this, but I just want to thank each and every one of you. This was very unexpected, but it's also very welcoming and warming as well. Well, thank you.
I too want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for their kind words and the sentiments, and I think now the reality is starting to hit when you realize that in 34 days, if we come back, we are not sitting up here, we'll be sitting out in the audience watching a new legislature help run this county. And for me, it's been 20 years of a lot of fun, a lot of learning. I have been blessed to have worked with some of the best people that you could find in government. You know, when it was both sides of the aisle, you know, starting way back when with Judy Jacobs as presiding officer and Peter Schmidt as the minority leader. It has been wonderful. I had the opportunity, of course, to work with Gavon and Rich the whole time that I was here. I think that it's the people that I will miss most, you know, most especially this legislature. You know, I tell people that you cannot imagine how magical this group is and how we all get along. It doesn't matter what your political leaning is, that we all do work together. And, you know, you could have your differences, but they go away when you are out doing social events, you know, with everybody else here. We've been blessed with a fantastic staff. I think of all the people that work behind the scenes with us and for us, that, you know, we have a lot of fun. You know, the aides are wonderful, and our council, everybody who's just here to make us hopefully look good, you know, as we work as legislators. You know, I look out in the audience, the people who work in the administration, you know, all the various departments that have been so instrumental in, I believe, in my success. And so it's been wonderful. It's been a fantastic journey, and I look forward to trying something different. And I do, and I thank, especially working with all our unions. Of course, I see all our police officers in the back, and I thank everybody for everything that they have done for the county, and how they worked so well with all of us. And I wouldn't have traded these 20 years for anything else. We had some tough times, but I think all the good times really overrode everything. And I thank each and every single one of you. I'm going to miss you. I really am. And I wish all of you good luck with the new legislature, with the new leader. And I know that you're really going to do fantastic things. Thank you.
You know me, I'm a big talker. And now I have, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I agree with Denise, and with much was what was said already. It's the people. You know, the job is definitely a challenging job, but it's a very rewarding job in many ways as well. And I think what has really been hitting me lately is that, you know, we've all, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter what you believe, you don't believe, whatever you fight over, whatever you don't fight over, you know, we're all in the trenches together. And that's really, you put yourself out there as a target when you take this job. You do. But that's okay. You know, that's what the job is, and you want to make a difference. And by doing that, you know, you do make a difference, because you're saying, what do you need? You know, I'm here for you, and I'm going to do, I think I can say that about everybody who's here anyway. You know, I can't say that about every politician out there. But certainly for all of my colleagues, I feel like everybody has their heart in the right place. And those are the people that you want to work with, no matter what type of job you're doing. So I'm absolutely going to miss everybody here. You know, everybody's jobs, you have pros and cons to everything, but like I said, it's about who you work with and how you can get things accomplished. And when we know we can rely on each other to work things out, even if it takes a long time sometimes, that's what's most important, and that's what helps keep the county going. And I also want to thank, you know, everybody in the administration, the people that have been here in Nassau County for years and years. You know, you've really made this job just a little bit easier when we are able to get things done through you. And our support staff, you know, our support staff is great. They deal with a lot that we don't have to deal with oftentimes, because we're not sitting in the office answering the phone every single day. So, thank you so much to everybody here, to my aide John, and to all of the staff here that really take that on. And I'm going to miss it. If I come here for some reason to fight with the people that are here, well, at least we'll know we like each other, before I open my mouth. No, I'm kidding. But, just thank you to everybody, and again, to the unions as well. It's been great to get to know our police department and really get to know those people who are out there keeping us safe and keeping the residents safe. That's been something that I think personally for myself, it's so nice to just know that that's really going on, because we get an up-close and personal relationship with our officers, and that's something that's very special. So thank you very much for taking the time to do this today. Appreciate it.
Okay, Mike, would you please call the roll?
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Deputy Presiding Officer Howard Coppell. Alternate Deputy Presiding Officer Denise Ford. Legislator Sela Bino. Legislator Carrier Salage. Here. Thank you. Legislator Deborah Muley. Legislator C. William Gaylord III. Legislator John Giuffre. Thank you. Legislator Mazi Philippe. Legislator Delia George Whitten. Legislator James Kennedy. Legislator Thomas McKevitt. Legislator Laura Schaefer. Thank you. Legislator John Ferretti. Legislator Arnold Drucker. Legislator Rosemarie Walker. Legislator Joshua Lafasan is excused. Legislator Michael Giangogorio. Here. Thank you. Minority Leader Kavan Abrahams. Presiding Officer Richard Nicolello. We have a quorum, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We have received a number of slips, and in a little bit we'll be calling public comment. If anyone who's not submitted a slip and would like to have public comment, please do so. The slips are up to your left, right in front of the clerk's table, and we'll call them in turn. But first, as is our custom, we have our top cop recognitions this month, and to lead things off, Tommy Shevlin, the president of the Nassau County PBA.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to say I hope everybody enjoyed Thanksgiving with their friends and family. And I want to congratulate and wish nothing but the best to Rich, Kavan. Thank you so much for all of your years of leadership and dedication. Denise, Laura, same goes to you. Thank you for all of your hard work. We really enjoyed working with everybody, keeping our county safe and our cops safe. So thank you once again for all of the work you do. You definitely do not get enough recognition for all of the hard work, and you definitely don't do this for the money. And we kind of understand that as police officers. Okay. On August 15th, 2023, 1st Precinct police officers were dispatched to a call for shots fired in North Belmore. Officers Alfano and Sloan were first on the scene. They observed the subject crossing a busy intersection, waving a gun towards passing cars and civilians. The subject had already recklessly fired the gun. This is our community in North Belmore, where there's people around, children around, families, workers. In the middle of the street, our police officers pulled up, they took cover, and they drew their weapons. When the police officers realized that they could not shoot, they would not shoot, because it wasn't safe. It wasn't safe for the people standing in the background. They put themselves at risk. And the police officers jumped back in the car. They drove at the subject, striking the subject to stop the threat. Not to kill the subject, not to hurt the subject, to stop the subject. okay? This is unbelievable. What these two officers did is nothing short of heroism, dedication. This goes to our training. That's why we can never have enough training. This incident made national news, not because of the crime, not because of the threat. Police officers face this threat every day. They go to work. It's because of their action, their split-second decision that they made was the difference in civilians getting hurt or killed, themselves getting hurt or killed, and even the subject getting hurt or killed. The subject was taken into custody, brought to the hospital, and released within a few hours. The subject was charged with numerous felonies, including criminal possession of a weapon, menacing a police officer, and reckless endangerment. Due to the quick response, quick thinking, they were able to take a dangerous person off the street and not just save the community, but also save this person from themselves. This was an unbelievable act. And I am so proud to stand up here to represent these police officers. They're not just heroes for this incident. This is what we do day in and day out. So this is why I am so proud to honor Police Officer Tristan Alfano and Brandon Sloan as our top cops.
First of all, congratulations. I don't want to say retirement because I know you're all going to keep busy in whatever your new future has, because my phone's already blowing up when I don't think Denise has lost my number yet. But it's okay, and we welcome them. But I want to thank you for the professionalism, your partnership, your mentoring, all the tough times that we've gone through in the last several years, especially in this county. It's because of your leadership that we got through it and got us where we have to be today. So thank you, and I wish you all well and good health. So that afternoon, I was at the scene right after it went down. And I got a chance to look at the body camera. And this is what the world doesn't see. Officer Sloan and Officer Alfano were responding to that call. It comes out for a woman that just fired a weapon into the air. It's in the middle of these, a Carvel on one corner, a 7-Eleven, a gas station, and CVS. There's also a special needs school right there that was also emptying out at that time. They respond down there. They stop from a distance. The woman is now pointing the gun at cars and people in traffic. Immediately, Officer Alfano starts to try to de-escalate. Let's calm down. Let's look at me. Calm down. Let's put the gun down. Let's calm down. At that point, she starts to point the weapon. When she's pointing that weapon, he goes back over the air, asks the other cars to step it up. It comes over the air that she's pointing the gun at other people and putting it to her head. Officer Sloan made a decision at that moment to bend down in his car, crouch over, put himself at risk to take out, Officer Alfano, to take out that individual and stop that threat. And then Officer Sloan came in and recovered the gun, which she was still holding on to. 20 seconds passed from that. It took longer for me to tell you than what happened in that time period. The media asked me that day, do you train like that? No, we don't train like that. But what we train is good men and women to make sound decisions when it's based on the community's safety. Put yourself at risk, as you just heard Tommy Shevlin say. Put yourself at risk to save another's life. That's what heroes do. That's what leaders do. But Officer Alfano's decision to crouch down in the car and go and stop that threat was big. It stopped that individual from firing at anybody else. Officer Sloan then running in alongside the car to pick up the weapon that she still had in her possession. Heroes are made of that. Leaders are made of that. That's what these two are here today. So I'm very proud to stand here along with our PBA president to recognize them and thank them for their service. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Just want to take a second to thank the Legislative Board, Commissioner Ryder, the PBA, President Shevlin, and the community of Nassau County for the support that they showed after the incident.
Legislator Gian Gregorio? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just want to thank everyone that Officer Alfano mentioned, and thank the men and women I work with as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I want to commend Officers Alfano and Sloan, as well as the entire Nassau County Police Department, for their excellent training. I live very close to that area. It is a residential area. Very dear friends of mine live about a minute and a half away from there. As Commissioner Ryder said, there's a special needs school that was getting out at the time. It's a commercial area. This was a very difficult and dangerous situation. A person brandishing a gun in a public area, firing shots, pointing the gun at civilians, at passing cars. This could have turned into such a tragedy. At any moment, thankfully, it did not happen. Thanks to Officers Alfano and Sloan for their quick thinking. They controlled the situation, de-escalated the situation, and no loss of life. Thank you, both of you, Officers Alfano and Sloan. You are great examples of the exemplary police in Nassau County. Thank you for all you do.
We would like to invite you up for purposes of a presentation, so in a couple of moments we'd ask you to come up and join us. The next presentation is on behalf of the Nassau County Superior Officers Association, and it's President Ricky Fassetti.
All right, good afternoon. How you doing? So I'm Ricky Fassetti, President of the Nassau County Superior Officers Association. Of course, going after Tommy Shevlin, he always steals my thunder, but I too would like to wish all of you, first of all, a happy Thanksgiving and a happy holiday season. And I also would like to thank you for unanimously approving the increase in the SOA budget at headcount that was done at the last meeting. It's the highest headcount we've had in a long time, and it's a long time coming. So once again, thank you all for voting yes on that. We really appreciate that. And I'd also like to wish Rich, Kavan, Laura, and Denise good luck on their retirement from the Ledge. Good luck on your future endeavors. And I want to thank you also for all your hard work and your continued support of the men and women of the Superior Officers Association and the Nassau County Police Department. And best wishes on everything you do in the future. God bless you. Now, the reason we're here. I'd like to introduce the Nassau County Police Department Superior Officers Association Top Cop Supervisor of the Month, Sergeant Ian Johnson. Sergeant Johnson, while working as a patrol supervisor in the 2nd Precinct on November 5th at 0512 hours, it's 5:12 in the morning, responded to a burglary in progress. The 911 caller stated someone broke into their apartment and was armed with a knife. Sergeant Johnson, who just happened to be, luckily, in the area, responded and was at the scene within 2 minutes. Sergeant Johnson, in arriving so quickly, was the first and was the only officer on the scene. Sergeant Johnson immediately surveyed the area, tactically knocked on the door, and was met by a frantic woman yelling for him to come inside. Sergeant Johnson, while continuing surveying the area and using the tactics he was taught as a Nassau County police officer, noticed that there was a large amount of blood on the floor. Sergeant Johnson, using its tactics, was able to locate the subject and with minimal force, subdue the subject and place him under arrest. Sergeant Johnson then immediately called for an ambulance because the victim was apparently stabbed by the subject. Hiding in one of the bedrooms were 2 small children who, thank God, weren't harmed. The subject was then placed under arrest and was charged with attempted murder, burglary, and numerous other charges. If it wasn't for the quick actions of Sergeant Johnson, one being at the scene immediately, getting into that house immediately. We all know the circumstances could have been very worse for the two victims that were in there. It was a husband and a wife, and the 2 children that were hiding in the bedroom. So it's for these reasons I'm happy to select Sergeant Johnson as top supervisor of the month. Great job, and congratulations. I too, like Ricky, would like to thank you for increasing that head count. Supervision is always needed. We have 50% of our job, our patrol force has less than 5 years out there. We have a very, very young department, and leadership like Sergeant Johnson and that guidance and that mentoring that he can give them is so important. So again, I want to thank him and congratulate him.
Good afternoon. As you know, I'm Sergeant Johnson. Just want to thank the Legislative Board. I want to thank Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder. Also would like to thank Chief Palmer as well. And most importantly, I would like to thank Ricky Fascetti for for his leadership, and of course thank the community. Thank you.
Legislator Rose Walker.
Sergeant Johnson, on behalf of all of us here, we just want to thank you and commend you for the job that you did. I had the opportunity to meet your family today. I met you out and about in the community over different times, but seeing you here today and being able to thank you personally for this, the fact that there were 2 young children hiding in that bedroom, what could have happened if you didn't go in there right away when you got there. At that time, it was you alone. You didn't have backup with you. Hopefully backup was on their way, but you went into that home and saw what you needed to do and did it without a second guess. You had all the tools to do the right thing, and you apprehended that man who was in there and could have done far worse damage than was already done. And again, I want to thank you, and I want to thank your family for sharing you with us, because when we see your families here, and people often forget, oh, you're a police officer, and that's what they see, the police officer. That police officer is a human being. That police officer is a dad or a grandpa or a father, a friend. He's got family, he's got friends, and yet he puts himself in jeopardy every day, putting yourself out there, not thinking of what could happen to you, worrying about what you have to do in your job. So thank you so much for what you have done, and congratulations on being named top cop.
Sure, Legislator Drucker.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Sergeant Johnson, I also want to just take this opportunity to congratulate you on this award. It never ceases to amaze me on all of these incidents and these Top Cops Award every month that you continuously display the expert and unparalleled training that prepares you for these type of situations, and your responsiveness, and you react on instinct. And it was you and the other top cops today, and each and every month that you come before us, you display the training that enables you, that gives you the tools to react in such an important way so promptly, and it saves lives. And on a day-to-day basis, you continue to convey the message, I think, to the county at large, that if you're a bad actor and you want to commit crimes, there's a good chance you're going to get caught and go to jail. And that's why we live in the safest county in the United States for Commissioner Ryder. How many years now? 5. Okay. So it's because of the bravery of the men and women who comprise our law enforcement, and we are so grateful, and we owe you such a debt of gratitude. But today is your day, Sergeant, and thank you and congratulations.
Legislator Pillar.
Thank you. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank our 2 officers, Officer Alfano and Officer Salon, and Sergeant Jensen. You guys are amazing, and I want to salute you for everything you do every single day. You putting your life in risk to save our people, to make sure that our county is safe. And unfortunately, nowadays, you don't get a lot of appreciation. And I want to tell you this. I admire you, I salute you, and I'm here with my colleague to support you, to provide you the tools you need, the training you need, in order for you to do the job. So thank you.
Okay, we'd also like to invite you up for a presentation in a couple of moments. Third presentation is from the Detectives Association, Inc., and it's from its president, Bill Bourguignon.
Bill, just hit the button.
Sorry. Good afternoon. I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving with your families. I want to take the time to just thank you for acknowledging our detectives and the support that you give us day in and day out. To the legislators moving on, we wish you well in your future endeavors. We thank you for your service to the county and to working with the Detectives Association to make sure our detectives are safe and they have what they need. Before I begin acknowledging our two detectives, I want to alert you all again, we are under 300 detectives. History has repeated itself. I know a lot of you have been here and been through this. You did help fix it a few years back, fortunately, I'm sorry, for the PBA and this legislative body. They got a contract, which has now caused some issues with cops wanting to become detectives again. Again, this is a movie we've all seen before. And Nassau County has unfortunately put a Band-Aid on this detective shortage for over 2 decades, because that's how old this problem is. To the west of us, we have a massive crime wave. We see it every day in the news. You only have to turn on your TVs to see what's going on. You witness how violent the world is. The events that are going on very much affect our residents, as we've seen recently. And to the east in Suffolk County, we have newly elected officials, and they're making it a priority to add detectives, as they are keenly aware of a robust detective division to keep their residents safe. I look forward to working with all of you to the new legislative body here in January, and I'll be sitting down with all of you to speak with you. And again, I want you all to have wonderful holidays. Let me move on to our detectives. Detective Mike McEntee and Frank Erdeles are being acknowledged for solving a very unusual burglary case in Woodmere. On October 6, 2023, Detective McEntee and Erdeles responded to the scene of a burglary to investigate. Responded to the scene of a burglary to investigate the burglary of a local rabbi. And upon entering the residence and walking through the scene, they realized the perpetrator had been sleeping in the victim's bed, cooking in the victim's kitchen, showering in the victim's master bathroom, and was wearing clothing taken from the victim's closet. Detective McEntee and Erdeles observed clothing on the floor, which upon further examination, they had remembered the same clothing was worn by a perpetrator who was recently arrested. The detectives compared photos of the perpetrator that was recently arrested and were able to match the clothing through their investigation. Shortly after, the phone in the residence rang while the detectives were at the burglary scene, and an individual on the phone stated to the detectives that his brother had contacted him from this number. This further confirmed the ID of the perpetrator. Detective McEntee and Erdeles were able to get some tips from the public and the perpetrator's brother, who supplied pictures of his brother wearing women's clothing he had taken from the burglarized residence. These detectives, with the help of patrol officers and canines, searched several areas where the perpetrator was known to frequent. The perpetrator was ultimately taken into custody, hiding in the bathroom of Cedarhurst Park, and charged with burglary and possession of stolen property. I'd like to commend Detective McEntee and Erdeles for taking a dangerous, deranged burglar off the streets of Nassau County. Very few crimes impact victims like a burglary. Your home is your sanctuary, and to have it violated is something that is not easy to recover from. The DAI would like to congratulate you on a job well done and keeping the residents of Nassau County safe. Thank you. Commissioner.
So for 1 second, I want you to think that's your house. I want you to think that's your shower where your kids shower, your clothing, your wife's bedroom, your husband's bedroom, and it's violated. What these detectives do every single day is give our victims a voice. They stand up for the victims every single day. It's a challenging job. The most challenging job is done by our detectives because of what they have to live with. And they live with our victims, and they make sure that our victims get closure. I'm very proud of the two young men, and they are young, as you see behind me, that have taken on the challenge to become detectives. The very proud position of a detective in the Nassau County Police Department. So again, I want to congratulate them for the great work. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to the legislative members that are here today, to the members of the Nassau County Police Department, to the Detective Association, the PBA Association, and for the community support. Thank you.
Deputy Presiding Officer Coppell.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. What you didn't mention over here in this presentation was that the couple involved were elderly, on the elderly side, and the rabbi is severely disabled. Now, if you can imagine, they're coming home and they're terrified. I was with them last night, as it happens, at a function, and I was talking to them about this particular incident and the speed and the expedition with which you jumped in and took care of this enabled these people to have some peace of mind. You can imagine the terror, thinking that that this perpetrator, this sick person, is still out there and maybe is going to come back to the house while they were there. So they've got peace of mind. They asked me to convey to you their gratitude and their happiness that you are getting this award. So thank you for what you do every day, and particular for what you've done over here.
Legislator Ford.
Thank you very much for the hard work and the dedication that you have being detectives. And yes, we applaud you. We thank you for everything that you do. And I think that for all our police officers, whatever job title that you do have, people don't realize the hours that you put into your job. That we were all home for our Thanksgiving dinner, but many of you are not home. A lot of times you have to work. We man our posts 24 hours a day. So you're not always having Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, any type of, it could even be a family gathering for somebody's birthday. You're not always guaranteed that you're going to be there joining your family. And I think that needs to be understood, that this is all part of your job, that you give up a lot just to be an officer, to be able to serve the public and to keep us safe day in and day out. And it is so rewarding when your training really does kick in this case, with helping to solve this strange crime. And I feel like it's a movie. It could be a movie based on this person living in this house. I also think of Sergeant Johnson. I remember doing a ride-along, and the officer, because we were just observing, and he said, whatever happens, don't get out of the car. But he got out of the car, and he was checking something down the road. And I sat there, and I felt like I must have been there 20 minutes, because I was consumed with this fear of, like, what's going to happen to him, what's going on, where is the help, and whatever. And he gets back in the car, and I'm like ready to have a heart attack, and he's as calm as could be, basically. And it was only a matter of a few seconds. And I think to myself that you are in the worst possible situations at times, going into somebody's home. You don't even know what's behind the door, what's going to happen. You're by yourself, and you don't allow fear to overtake you. All of a sudden, that training, that professionalism kicks in, and you're able to respond in a way that not only you were able to get the perpetrator, but to keep the family safe, and especially when I think of those children. And just even the split second where to come up with a woman who's shooting a gun into the air with so many people around, to have that presence of mind in a matter of, what did you say, 20 seconds, Commissioner, or whatever it was. Think about 20 seconds that all of a sudden you realize that this is what you were going to do. Like, not that you were trained to do it, but all of a sudden you're going to say, rather than take your guns out and possibly put somebody else in danger, you decided to utilize your vehicle to be able to disarm this woman. I mean, this is something, not only do you put your lives on the line, but you also give up a lot of your personal life. And I have to say that everybody's fantastic. I don't think you can get enough accolades for the work that you do. And I just want to let you know that I'm really proud of the jobs that each and every single one of you do. It's very, I guess, wonderful that you have such great union leaders that are willing to fight for you, and also to have one of the best police commissioners, if not the best police commissioners, to lead this wonderful department. And I thank you. And don't lose your number, and if you change it, I'm going to come look for you, because it's still on my cell phone. I just want to let you know. But all of you, really, there's not enough thanks to say for the work that you do, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Just before we ask you to come up, Bill, you know, it troubles all of us, I believe, that recruitment has become an issue again for the detectives. And it's an issue that's come up over the years. I can remember John Wighouse and then presidents before his time who raised the issue to us and constantly advocated for it. We thought with the contract that it was solved, and I can guarantee you, although some of us won't be here as of the first of the year, this entire body has always been supportive of any solutions that it takes to make sure that that recruitment is successful with detectives. We understand how important your job is.
Thank you.
Thanks. Sure.
Appreciate it. Look forward to working with everybody.
Thank you. Legislator Walker.
I just want to certainly thank you, our detectives here, and congratulate you for this honor. But while I have all of you here, I just want to thank you for this weekend. Was an especially crazy weekend in my district, in the Hicksville community and Bethpage community. We had an incident Saturday where someone barricaded themselves in a home, and that took 12, 15 hours out of your days to deal with that. And thank goodness that person was now apprehended and will be dealt with. And certainly yesterday with the Palestinian rally, protest, whatever we want to call it, but that you made sure that everyone, that our communities, that our residents stayed safe, that our communities, their property stayed safe, and everything was handled as you have handled them in the past. But it was, very worrisome to the residents. And Hicksville yesterday happened to be Popcorn Ball Sunday with our fire department, so that made it even a little extra crazy because people were worried their children would be outside and something bad going to happen. But everything was wonderful because of each and every one of you. And I thank you, Commissioner, and your hard work and dedication, and that of all the men and women that serve under you. So thank you again.
Okay, come on up. No, I wish I was you. Great job.
Bless you. Quick thinking. That's all I can say.
Of course.
Presiding officer, there's the county executive had wanted to be here previously, and he was delayed, but he's here now. Would like to make a little statement. And also, I neglected to thank Ursula Babino, who really was very instrumental in getting all things organized. Appreciate it, Ursula.
Thank you, Ursula.
But it was my fault, remember, not hers.
Thank you very much. It is very, very much of a nostalgia trip for me to be here today. Of course, we didn't have the beautiful accommodations you now have back when I was in the legislature. First of all, I want to thank you all for keeping my bar mitzvah picture up. It's very kind of you. Today is a special day because we get to recognize here in Nassau County 4 outstanding public servants. And for me as county executive, I started off in county government on the legislature as the first presiding officer. And it was very different times back then. Nobody wanted us. The bureaucracy didn't want us, the county executive didn't want us, and the Board of Supervisors, they didn't want anything to do with us because we were taking their power away from them. So Rich would remember this. When we were actually mandated by Judge Spat to be formed, we had no transition budget. We had no staff. We basically had to start a new government in a county larger than 10 states with virtually no resources other than ourselves. Our offices were across the street at West Street. Rich Nicolello would remember this. They couldn't put a wall up between your assistant and your office because the only way to heat and air condition was through one vent. And if they put the wall up, the legislator wouldn't get heat in the winter, wouldn't get air conditioning in the summer. So it was a much different environment. But one of the things that we tried to do when we started the legislature was have an atmosphere of collegiality where basically people's voices could be heard, but done so with respect. And we could agree to disagree, and we could debate very fiercely on behalf of our positions, but in the final analysis, we would all get together and try to do what's right in a very respectful way. And I'm very proud that you continue to do that here in the legislature. When I think back of my years on the legislature, I think of Peter Schmidt. What a wonderful deputy he was for me. Peter was one of the smartest people in government I had ever met. And then Judy Jacobs. Judy was everybody's grandmother. She was just a kind, loving, hardworking public servant. I also think about Barbara Johnson. What a wonderful advocate she was for her district. And Ed Oppenheimer from the Rockville Center area. All of them have passed. And I think about them each and every day because I like to think that I've learned a little bit from each and every one of them, just as you will all continue to learn from each other. But today we are saying an official farewell, but not a farewell forever, because we're hoping that those who are leaving the legislature stay active in Nassau County. We have a wonderful county. It's one of the most diverse counties in the United States. We don't have the problems that a lot of other counties have throughout the United States because we respect each other, we care for each other, and we love each other here in Nassau County. And although we can disagree, and many of you had a Thanksgiving dinner with your family, and I'm sure that more than one of you had the same situation I have every year where, you know, the family gets together and there might be a difference of opinion. But in the end, your family loves you, and I like to think of the legislature as a family. So I want to thank you all for giving this minute to me to recognize these 4 legislators and reminisce a bit. There's one story in particular that I want to leave with you that was very funny before I mention our 4 departing legislators. So I will never forget this. Rich, you may remember this, but we were in a budget hearing till 2 o'clock in the morning, and every head of every department had to appear before the legislature and justify their expenditures, their budget. And we were in a little different times back then. We were in rough times fiscally in Nassau County. So the budget hearings went on and on and on till 2 o'clock in the morning. And we were all tired, and we were all bleary, and we just wanted to get home. But there was one calendar item left that we had to attend to. It was a contract that was put on at the last minute, and this poor guy who was representing the administration had to sit there for close to 12 hours before he would be called to be questioned about his contract. So the guy is called, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and he looked exactly like Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Exactly, to the T. To which he gets up. We have no idea what contract he's talking about. We're all very tired. And he says, I'm here to ask the legislature for $200,000 for chicken for the jail. Well, it started with Minority Leader Bruce Nyman. He starts to chuckle. It turns into a laugh. Peter Schmidt starts to laugh. The next thing you know, all the legislators were laughing hysterically. It was contagious. And this poor guy who looked like the Kentucky Colonel was standing there wondering why the whole legislature was laughing at them. But it shows you that you can always find humor even in difficult situations. So first of all, I want to say to Laura Schaefer, Laura, thank you. Thank you for your optimism. You are probably one of the most optimistic people I have ever met in my life. Nothing was ever a negative. It was always, how do we do this better? How can we make this better? Thank you for your service for the past 10 years to the county, serving as the chair of the Planning and Development Environment Committee, which was a very important committee, and serving on a lot of other committees. Thank you. Denise Ford, probably one of the most active legislators that I know. Denise is involved in everything, especially when it came to protecting the people of Nassau County, which was near and dear to her heart. Whether it was firefighters, police officers, sheriffs, Denise always had their condition and what they did and their responsibilities at the front of everything that she did and everything she believed in. So Denise, thank you for your service on the legislature. Kavan Abrams. Kavan, at the time when he was elected to the legislature, had been the youngest legislator, and he rose to be a leader in this body and somebody that you could talk to and reason with. And he also was somebody who conducted himself with great dignity, great poise, and a good heart. So, Kavan, I want to wish you the best as well. And finally, to Presiding Officer Rich Nicolello, who was there at the beginning with me. You're the last of the Mohicans, Rich. I think what everybody is going to miss about you is the fact that you are so even-tempered, that you have a great deal of common sense, and that you have the institutional knowledge of being on this body and seeing how it operates for years, and really conducting yourself in a way that's outstanding as a leader. So I just wanted to take some time to come before you all and congratulate these 4 outstanding legislators. May God bless you all. May God bless this legislature, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. And if I could ask for a personal privilege to just take one photo with our outgoing legislators, if you don't mind a pause for a moment? Okay.
Before we do that, though, I just want to say it's hard to believe that it's now 28 years later. I can remember us as new legislators going in and meeting with the county executive, who was Tom Gallardo at the time. I enjoyed working with you back when you were presiding officer. I was one of the legislators, and I've enjoyed working with you now as a county executive. You being here says a lot. We appreciate that. It's very important that the legislature and county executive have mutual respect for each other, work together for this county to succeed. One thing that probably has changed over the years is that we spent more time socially back at the beginning. I can remember going to Rabbi Pearl's telethon in the city. They're doing the aura on the stage. So Dennis Dunn almost knocked me off. He was a big guy with his chest. But so the social aspect is important. I think it's important for legislators to get to know each other in that respect and to develop that rapport. So, but again, thank you very much for coming and joining us.
I agree. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go right into public comment. Richard Clolery. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm back again. As you well know, I've been monitoring accidents lately. I mean, the news has been with accidents a lot from concerning distracted drivers, people. It seems that there's been a lot. There's been accidents recently. Just yesterday, an elderly woman got hit crossing Hempstead Turnpike. And also, there's been a lot of talk about distracted drivers. I mean, we need to improve driving enforcement. You know, I mean, driving a car is not just it's a privilege, which comes with a set of responsibilities. Of course, I also want to talk about increasing funding for the buses, because you guys want to put a casino, even though I'm opposed to it. How are people going to get there? I mean, you think that the Nassau Coliseum is going to have enough parking spaces? You need a public transportation system, otherwise the traffic is going to be abysmal. Also, it would help a lot of people out. Have a good day.
Pearl Jacobs.
Carol Jacobs, Uniondale. I wish everyone a wonderful retirement. I hope you are as busy as I am when you retire. That would help. I just want to start by saying on November 13th, I sent an email to Legislator Abrahams and Legislator Bino requesting the schedule for streetscaping on Uniondale Avenue. As of yet, I have not received an answer, and I need an answer because I have to go back to some residents to clarify streetscaping for Uniondale. Uniondale is an environmentally deprived community that suffers from a plethora of environmental issues: water, traffic congestion, insufficient infrastructure, high asthma rates, 17% among our youth, preschool to 17 years old. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has identified Uniondale, Roosevelt, Hempstead, and Newcastle, all minority communities in Nassau County here, as communities that have been harmed by air pollution and climate change. Can you stop the clock? I would like my legislator, well, I'll go on. A community that is subject to this level of environmental deprivation should be heard and responded to. It was clearly evident that during the proposed casino process the last several months that the voices of Uniondale's residents did not matter. Our elected representatives were invited to speak with residents. Our requests went ignored. I was told that, oh, well, you know, you had community leaders there to represent you. I'm a community leader. I don't represent. I bring forth issues, but I'm not elected to represent my residents. Residents were asking for community meetings, and they went ignored. The lack of transparency surrounding this proposed project in violation of required open meetings laws spoke volumes regarding the level of respect that our elected officials have for our communities. And on top of that, well, that's being addressed, and I'm glad it's being addressed that, you know, at least we have some encouragement, and we have minority communities that, hey, we're still a democracy and not a monarchy. However, going forward, we expect the same level of transparency as any other communities would receive. Uniondale, to close it out, is not the right community for a casino. It cannot support a casino. We have a plethora of issues that cannot be mitigated: air pollution, climate change, insufficient roadways, insufficient infrastructure. We have so many issues that I do not believe that they will be mitigated. And that's why I wrote today my minority communities do not matter t-shirt, because that's what I believe. Thank you.
Excuse me, Presiding Officer.
Legislator Bino.
So, Ms. Jacobs, for the record,
yes.
So I just want to say, for the record, I'm not going to make this a point to be the space where me and you go point for point or back and forth, but I don't want anyone, especially because this is on the record, to hear what you said regarding contacting my office and be under the impression that I did not respond. My office responded to you immediately and addressed that the question that you raised. We responded November 14th at 10 a.m.
No, I know you did, but my question was,
But
my
the way,
question,
but
no, my
let
question.
me finish. I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking, although I wanted to. Please allow me to finish. The way you made it sound on the record was as if you never got any response from my office.
Well,
I just wanted to clarify for the record that we did respond to you on November 14th at 10 a.m.
I know you
so
did. I
just wanted to do that.
Well, I have it right here. I did not say that you not respond. I said I have yet to receive an answer. My answer, my question being, the question is, what is the schedule for Uniondale street sweeping?
I don't know what that would be,
so
because
that's
I'm
the
not
answer I was looking for.
Ms. Jacobs.
That's the answer I did not receive.
Ms.
We're
Jacobs.
not going to debate this. Have a good day.
Well, you can walk away, but I still have the mic. So I'm going to make my point for closing. Please do not come here and make comments on the record that imply that my office did not respond to you. You got an answer. It wasn't one you liked. You got an answer. It wasn't one you liked.
George Krug.
Hi, George Krug, Garden City. 3 weeks ago, the Supreme Court ruling that nullified the Nassau Coliseum lease transfer laid bare how our county government ran roughshod over the rules. This was not your finest hour, folks. And now, instead of hitting the reset button and doing it right, the administration is doubling down and spending millions of dollars to fight this in court. As our leaders, you're supposed to act in the best interest of your constituents. Instead, the way is being paved for a foreign entity to build an enormous casino that will extract wealth from our community. It will encourage all of the bad behaviors that surround such gambling establishments. That will make Hofstra and Nassau community colleges less attractive to new students and to their parents. It will bring unwelcomed competition for patrons and for work staff to our local restaurants and small businesses who are still recovering from the pandemic. The Newsday Siena poll showed that more Nassau residents oppose the casino than favor it. I think we all know intuitively that despite efforts to keep news about the casino quiet, that the more Nassau residents learn about this project, the more they will oppose it. Our county has many needs, as you all well know. Prior to the pandemic, a mixed-use project for the site was gaining broad bipartisan support. That project would have helped to fill some of the needs of the county and would have made positive contributions to the community. But instead, this administration wants a casino. So for a moment, let's think ahead to a future where this huge casino is built and all of the negative impacts that we all know accompany such establishments are realized. And people want to know who let this happen. So I ask you all to look forward and ask yourselves, when the lists of names are being passed around, do you want to be on the list of people who let it happen? Or even worse, the list of people who stood by while it happened? Or do you want to be able to say, I opposed the casino because I knew we could do better? I urge you to use this court ruling and the pause in the proceedings that it has initiated to do the right thing. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Lynn Krug.
Good afternoon. I'm George's wife, and we did not consult on this. I have my own agenda on the casino. Please stop wasting taxpayer money. You have many, many projects that need your attention. We need an assessment system that is fair. We need sewers. We need better water. We need infrastructure repairs. You don't need to spend what they're telling me is about $2.3 million on the engagement of the law firm Sullivan and Cromwell. I think you should just say, we're not going to appeal it. We're going to do the right thing going forward. And the right thing means you're going to start the process over, have transparency, invite people like myself to your meetings so we can look to see what you're doing. On the same vein, I want to know what's happening with the announcement that was made 2 days after the lease agreement was transferred to allow NYU to build a giga hospital on Nassau County community property. We as citizens own that property. Are you going to follow the law, or do we have to issue another Article 78? I also want to take the time to thank Hofstra University for being courageous in filing this petition against the legislature and the Planning Commission. I think they demonstrated courageous leadership, which I think you may want to take a lesson from. I also want to tell you that just be aware that the New York State court system has a long history of ruling in favor of State Environmental Quality Review Act, CEQA, compliance, and they may cancel project approvals and require a new environmental review. So just make sure that this is transparent and done without a predetermined outcome. On On Sunday, I spent the afternoon at Sagamore Hill. I went to the museum, and I was very impressed with the quotes that Teddy Roosevelt had on the walls in the Orchard House. We're standing in the legislative building that's kind of named after Teddy. And I'm going to end with this quote. He declared during the summer of 1910 in Kansas that the federal government should be the steward of public welfare over private interests. This should be the way that Nassau County operates. Have some conviction. Don't be afraid to go against what everyone thinks is the best plan for Nassau County. We are a smart community. We are well educated. We deserve better. And I really hope that you take this to heart. I don't need to come to all these legislative hearings. I want to enjoy my retirement, but this is so important to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mita J. Merida.
I still have, what, 2 more meetings? The way they were giving accolades, I was like, did I miss something? But Mita J. Merida. Where does one begin? Budget. Conversation on the budget. I'm clear. Say no to the casino. I had asked at the budget, at those hearings that were already farcical, where was the plan B? I'm still looking for the plan B. I've even said it to the Sands people, to their face, you know, while folks are trying to sidebar me or have conversations to get me to change my mind, change my view. I still speak to the concerns that I have and the desires for economic development for Nassau County. The casino is not it. Still have problems when you call it the hub or the casino when it's the Nassau County Veterans Memorial Coliseum. We keep forgetting the veterans component. Well, we keep forgetting the veterans. Very disappointed, even though there were some changes in the budget, not enough for veteran services. One of the reasons that I was late to the meeting is because I'm on a national organization that's focused on ending veteran debt, which is a large contributor to the rise in veteran suicides across the country, and particularly here in Nassau County. We need to do better. I had the occasion, not a happy occasion, but I had the opportunity to have to participate in the emergency medical services at the medical center. And I've spoken with state leaders about getting funding to rebuild and rejuvenate that facility and also to expand the services there for our veterans and their families. I don't know why it's so difficult for this county when you can take money from the Sands, but you refuse to go after the funding on the state and federal level to expand the net facility. And someone here in Nassau County made the impression to the state that that building, that facility, was not worth getting retrofitted or getting fixed up or getting expanded to provide services for our veterans and our military. I challenge you on that. I challenge you on that. And I implore whoever's coming in January to do the right thing by our veterans. Not just show up at the 20-degree stand down if you happen to be there, and it was a cold one this year. The concerns were many for our veterans, and they're growing. We need to do better. We need to do better. My concern is now that there is a lawsuit, is the Sands going to try to claw back the millions of dollars that I know are already spent by many in the leadership because everybody thought this was a done deal. We still have residents that believe it is a done deal with the casino. It's not a done deal, and those of us who oppose it are not done with our opposition for that. But we need to do better for our veterans. We definitely need to do better. Lastly, I do want to recognize Minority Leader Kevon Abrahams for a couple of weeks ago when he spoke out in support of trying to get some kind of relief to taxpayers, only to be told that the minorities' propositions were geared towards defunding the police department. I diabolically opposed that statement. Didn't get an opportunity to represent as one of the few public people, I think at that meeting, I was the only person from the public at that meeting. To hear that there is one side that believes that the other side would ever want to defund the police department. I wanted to stand up, and that's why I sat here, but I had mentioned to the commissioner, I wanted to stand up because I was one of those who fought to keep the 1st precinct that was going to get torn down, consolidated with the 8th precinct, and set up as a community center. I fought that. I should have been in the picture when some of you shouldn't have been there because you wanted to, some of you wanted to eradicate that facility that produced those 2 young men that kept a situation that could have been tragic in North Belmore. So I support you and I salute you, Minority Leader Abrahams, for that. For all the rest of you who are leaving, I do wish you the best of luck. For those of you that are staying, buckle up, because if we don't do better for our veterans, you too may be losing your seats. And not because you decided to move on and take another position, because the people finally stepped up, spoke up, and voted you out. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Monica Kiley.
Good afternoon. Mr. Nicolello, are you leaving?
Just go ahead. Go right on.
Okay. Okay, I'll be brief. Last time I spoke in front of the legislature, it was before the lease transfer to Las Vegas Sands Corporation, and at that time I expressed sympathy for you all because I understood that you're all under a lot of pressure to vote a certain way. And now it looks like the lease transfer process might come back here to this body. And I urge you to learn more about the negative impacts a casino will cause if it is built here. I urge you to meet with your constituents and hear their concerns and educate yourselves about all the issues surrounding commercialized gambling, the expansion of commercialized gambling, and the predatory nature of commercialized gambling in our society. As I sat here today and listened to the accomplishments of our brave police officers, I was struck by 2 thoughts. First of all, let's not subject our young officers to any more danger than absolutely necessary. The 2 incidents that were described, a burglary and unfortunately somebody waving a gun around in a public place, these are the kind of crimes that increase around a casino. As gambling addiction rates rise, there's more property crime, there's more physical assaults, more burglaries, all of those things rise. And so if a casino is built here, Nassau County will become a more dangerous place. You cannot be tough on crime and build a casino. Those 2 things are diametrically opposed. So if you really want to protect our young police officers and our citizens, you'll vote against the lease transfer. So legislators, please follow the brave example of our top cops and have the courage to do the right thing next time around.
Sit tight, we'll be continuing soon.
Okay, that was the last slip for public comments. So we're going to move right into the consent calendar, which are items that went through committees a couple of weeks ago. It's been agreed by the majority and minority that these items require no further debate or discussion at this time. Item 4, Ordinance 75. Item 5, Ordinance 76. Item 6, Ordinance 77. 7, Ordinance 78. 8, Ordinance 79. 9, Ordinance 80. 10, Ordinance 81, 11, Ordinance 82, 12, Ordinance 83, 13, Ordinance 84, 14, Ordinance 85, 15, Resolution 216, 16, Resolution 217, 17, Resolution 218, 18, Resolution 219, 19, Resolution 220, 20, Resolution 221, 21, Resolution 222, 22, Resolution 223, 23, Resolution 224, 24, Resolution 225, 25, Resolution 226, 26, Resolution 227, 27, Resolution 228, 28, Resolution 229, 29, Resolution 230, 30, Resolution 231, 31, Resolution 232, 32, Resolution 233. Motion by Deputy Presiding Officer Coppell, seconded by Minority Leader Abrahams. Any further debate or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carries unanimously. Next item is a procedural resolution, number 13 of 2023. This is a procedural resolution to reappoint the Director of Legislative Budget Review pursuant to the County Government Law of Nassau County. The appointee is Maurice Chalmers. His term is to commence on January 1st, 2024, and on December 31st, 2027. Motion by Deputy Presiding Officer Coppell, seconded by Minority Leader Abrahams. So that's before us. Let me just say, it's been, Maurice has done an outstanding job as the Director of Legislative Budget Review. He is respected by both sides of the aisle because we know that we're going to get an honest answer and that the facts don't lie. So every request that either side has made over the years for an evaluation or an analysis has come from your office. It's always been top-notch. So I think this county will be in good stead and has been in good stead because of your service.
Thank you so much. I am so grateful and humbled by your support. It's been 12 years, and I look forward to the next term. I thank my staff. I have a great staff, and we understand the mission of the office, and that's why we try to accomplish every time you have a request.
Minority Leader Abrahams.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Maurice, I just want to wish you the best. I know myself and Laura and Denise and Rich won't be able to serve with you going forward, but it's well deserved. I know you stand here as a symbol for the office, but I know that your staff has done a tremendous job, and they deserve the accolades of this reappointment as well. So I want to thank you for your service. I think as a presiding officer had indicated and said, we've always felt that your numbers were straight and narrow. They were fair, and from that standpoint, there's a level of trust in this process, and we've never felt the feeling to not trust your numbers. So I want to wish you nothing but the best. Congratulations on your reappointment, and congratulations to your staff as well, who's done an excellent job over the years as well. But thank you again.
Legislator Ford.
Maurice, I don't know what to say. I'm so happy that you're staying on and you're being reappointed. You run an excellent department. You are somebody that we could reach out to, and sometimes it's tough when you give us the numbers and it's like you want them to be a certain way, and but at least you're honest and you give accurate numbers, and I think that's very important. But you've always responded to any requests that we made, and whether or not it's you or anybody in your staff, your office is just one of the shining examples of how well run a government office can be. Just when I think about all the hard work that you do and the dedication of yourself and everyone that works with you and for you. So thank you very much, and congratulations on this appointment.
Appreciate it.
Legislator Reggie Wynn.
Maurice, every time I look at you, I'm just so thankful that you are not only an incredible asset to us, but that you're healthy. And we were so lucky that you survived and you were doing so well. And you have a very important purpose, and we're happy to support you. And again, we're very grateful for you.
Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other legislators? Okay. Thank you, Maurice. There being no further debate or discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carries unanimously. Congratulations. Okay, calendar number 1 is a hearing on a proposed ordinance number 74. It's an ordinance to adopt a capital budget for the County of Nassau for the first year of the 4-year capital plan to commence on January 1st, 2024, pursuant to the provisions of Section 310 of the County Government Law of Nassau County. Motion by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator DeRiggi Whitten to open the hearing. So there's more work that has to be done on the capital plan, so we are not ready to proceed with this today. We will not be calling items 2 and 3, but what we will be doing is putting the hearing in recess. So at a future meeting, whether it's in a week or 3 weeks, we should be taking up the capital budget at that time, and we'll have a full hearing at that time. So I am putting this hearing in recess. Motion to adjourn. Second, the motion by Legislator Drucker, seconded by Legislator Schaefer. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? We are adjourned.